Hi everyone, my name is Amy. I'm a co-founder of Campus Integrity Group with my partner Amber. We work with schools, attorneys, youth-serving organizations, families, advocates, and more with the main purpose of keeping students safe. This session is going to focus on how confidentiality works in real school misconduct cases, not in theory, but in practice. We'll talk about when confidentiality applies, why it matters, and how to handle information in a way that protects students, preserves the integrity of the process, and reduces risks for the school. So why does confidentiality matter? Confidentiality is not just a legal concept. It directly affects whether students feel safe coming forward. It also protects staff from unnecessary reputational harm and helps ensure investigations are fair and defensible. When confidentiality breaks down, trust erodes quickly, and cases often become harder, not easier, to manage. How is confidentiality defined in misconduct cases? Confidentiality means limiting information to people who genuinely need it to do their job. It does not mean secrecy at all costs. Schools often get into trouble by either oversharing or by treating confidentiality as a reason to say nothing at all. But the goal is thoughtful, intentional sharing. So when does confidentiality apply? Confidentiality is not a single decision. It's something schools must think about at every stage of the process. What's appropriate to shared intake may not be appropriate later, and vice versa. So this requires ongoing judgment. It's not a one-time call. Safety planning and interim measures, interviews and evidence collection, findings and determination, and post-investigation communications all require a level of confidentiality that must be determined by the school on a case-by-case basis and not all at once. So who is entitled to information? Information should be shared on a need-to-know basis. That typically includes administrators responsible for safety, investigators, and legal counsel. It does not include staff or parents who are curious or anxious but not involved in decision-making. This is a critical point. Confidentiality never overrides mandatory reporting laws. When allegations involve abuse or neglect, schools and staff are legally required to report, even if the student asks that no one be told. Being transparent about this limitation early helps preserve trust. Here are some common confidentiality missteps. Mind you, most confidentiality violations are not malicious. They're well-intentioned. Casual conversations, informal updates, or attempts to reassure people can unintentionally disclose too much. Overpromising confidentiality at intake is one of the most common and damaging mistakes. We don't want to share too much information under the premise that we're being helpful. There's always hallway and staff conversations that need to be limited so that rumors don't start and specific details are not overheard. There's no reason to name the parties. Overpromising is also, obviously, as we just discussed, not ideal, and failing to document what was shared and why is also another common misstep. When an investigation is determined to fall under Title IX regulations, there's an added complexity to the investigation. Title IX adds another layer. Schools must protect privacy and ensure due process. That means that parties are entitled to review relevant evidence, even when that feels uncomfortable. Limiting who has access is appropriate, but denying access to relevant information to those who are entitled to it is not. Best practices for communicating with families. Families often want information quickly. The key is to communicate clearly about the process without sharing too many details. Use neutral, factual language, repeated consistency, and that will help reduce speculation while protecting confidentiality. So explain early, set expectations, use neutral language, avoid speculating, and provide updates without breaching privacy. Let's talk about documentation. Good documentation protects the school. It's important to track not just investigative steps, but also what information was shared, with whom, and why. This becomes especially important if leadership changes or if decisions are later questioned. And keep your investigative files secure and access controlled. Good documentation supports defensibility. There are times when confidentiality may be limited. It must yield to safety, legal obligations, and/or operational realities. The goal is not silence. The goal is measured disclosure. Share only what is necessary to protect students and to comply with the law. The takeaway here is balance. Confidentiality is a tool to protect students and processes. It is not a shield to avoid action. Timing and audience matter. Oversharing and undersharing both can create risk, and you need clear protocols to reduce confusion and missteps. Clear protocols, consistent language, and thoughtful decision-making reduce risk all around. And if you're not sure what to do, slow down and seek guidance from other administrators or from legal counsel. This is one of the most important distinctions for school leaders. So, to reiterate, confidentiality does not mean saying nothing or avoiding communication altogether. It means being deliberate about what information is shared, with whom, and for what purpose. The goal is protecting students, ensuring fairness, and preserving the integrity of the process, while still meeting legal obligations and addressing safety concerns. Silence can create confusion and mistrust. Thoughtful, intentional sharing helps maintain credibility and control. So remember, confidentiality does not mean silence. And don't worry, if you're not sure about something, we're here to help. Our role is to support schools in making these decisions thoughtfully and defensively, whether through investigations, consultation, or training. Confidentiality questions rarely have one perfect answer, but having experienced guidance helps schools avoid costly missteps. And that concludes our presentation. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, reach out through our website, shoot us an email, or give us a call. We're always happy to help. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.